Hey guys, Max here again. I got a little short guide towards the wizard for you. So let's get started. So the wizard has 9 abilities overall. So he has 3 frost and 3 fire and 3 electricity. And so you can either do, say 2 ice, or I think that's what I said, 2 ice, and you get, this little ice beam, which is, it's really slow to turn, so I wouldn't recommend using it, unless you're in, a group with a Valkyrie to take some of the hits for you, because this will severely limit your movement and you're stuck. But, it's good damage output, because it does more damage the longer you have the ice beam out. And so when you combine the frost and fire, you get this little icicle thing, which freezes all enemies in its radius. So this one's definitely really handy if you're in a tight situation or you need to slow some guys down. And then you can do frost and electricity, which lets you shoot this little ball of frost, and when this frost travels 10 feet, 15 feet, and it creates this little frost patch on the ground, and it slows all enemies that walk into it. And it's really good to just, whether you're in a group situation and you need to slow down enemies coming from one direction at your group and kind of seal off a direction, or if you're riding solo and you just need that extra minute. So yeah, that's frost. The frost spells are definitely really good. You're going to want to take a lot of advantage of them. They're good. Personally, I use them more when I'm in a group, but I definitely find the little frost ball to be very, very handy, as well as the frost little icicle freeze thing. But the freeze ray is just, it takes too much mobility away to really be effective if you're playing solo for Merlin. So now we're going to talk about some of the fire spells. So when you do fire and frost, and you'll get this little twin fire teleport thingy going on. So this is one of my favorite spells. It's really good for pretty much all situations, whether you need to get some damage over time up on enemies, or get out of a sticky situation. It's definitely really handy, or just for getting ahead of the other guy and stealing up all the gold or the food, whatever. And then there's fire, which gives you these little fireballs, which I really like these. These one of my staple spells that I use the most. It just it's good. It's a good spell. Not too much utility that goes with it, but it's one of your staple damage spells. And then when you do fire and electric, you get this little fireball that launches maybe 9-10 feet away from you, and it does a pretty good area of effect, damage, and it hits really hard, but it's got a little recharge time. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. So yeah, it's got a little cooldown, but it's definitely really good if you have a big group of enemies together. And what I would recommend is throwing down one of these ice balls, and as the zombies are walking through and they get slowed down, you can easily drop down some of these big fireballs on them and wipe out a big group of them. So now we're going to talk about some of the electric spells. So when you hit the electric and then frost, you get this really cool chain lightning. I can't show you it because I need enemies to hit, but this chain lightning is really good. The more enemies that you have in a straight line, it's going to keep going, and until it gets to the last zombie or whatever it is, the monster in line, and it has a pretty good punch, and it can be useful for AoE damage if you don't want to switch to this, you know, slow, you know, fireball lobbing, whatever bullshit. You know, you can just do your little lightning strike, and you know, it puts out some pretty hefty damage. So I definitely think that's good. It's a good spell. And then you got electricity and fire, which gives you this little, I don't know what you call it, like, you know, electric field in front of you or whatever. And I mean, I don't really use this spell too much. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's too many spells and I just don't really get to using this one, or I don't really find it that useful. You know, it knocks back zombies maybe, you know, 6 feet away from you when you hit them with it. I guess it does some damage, but not a whole lot. So I mean, it's definitely got some utility to it, but I don't know, I don't find myself personally using this spell too much. Now when you do electric, you can get a little, you know, electric field around you, and this bubble is definitely really helpful. You know, you can throw it up, it'll knock back all, you know, enemies that are like about to hit you and walk into the field, and you know, it does some damage, and it's definitely really good. You know, you can throw down a quick little electric field and then start dropping, you know, lobbing these bombs, or throw out one of your frost spells and set up, you know, some good opportunities to just hammer them down. So yeah, for relics, I would recommend getting the Ring of Mirrors. You know, that would be one of the ones I definitely recommend. I would guess that the other ones are kind of up to you and how you play. I went for the Demonic Effigy, but I don't use it, you know, ever. I'm thinking about switching it out for like the Fire Trail boots or the Freeze Ring or something. You know, just for that utility and that, you know, crowd control, because I don't really use the Demonic Effigy. I don't know, I find the Ring of Mirrors to definitely be really, really hard hitting and great for you know, situations where you gotta put out a ton of damage really, really quickly. But yeah, I think I covered most of it. You know, there are things called masteries in this game, so you can make your Merlin much stronger by completing certain, you know, challenges or objectives. So after every, you know, whether it be, I believe it's chapter, it'll show you your progress and, you know, what you get the next level. So for example, one of the little masteries you get, you know, is this little bubble that you see around my wizard right now. It you know, if I don't get hit by an enemy for at least, you know, 15 seconds, I'll get this shield around me which protects against which negates the damage of the next attack. So that's really, really useful. You know, you get it by taking damage, so you know, you'll get it eventually. It's not something that's like really hard to get, but you know, you definitely want to pay attention to the masteries, because you know, you can make your fire spells much more powerful if you kill a certain amount of enemies with your fire spells, or you know, if you freeze your enemies and then electrocute them, you know, you'll be completing one mastery for using electric spells and then another mastery for killing, you know, enemies while they're frozen. So, all things to consider when you're playing Merlin. I hope this helped you out. You know, kind of stuff I've picked up along the way and learned from the spells. But yeah, you know, enjoy. Happy gaming, and I'll catch you guys later.